It is a damn good day to have a damn good day. We're live. We're back. The Damn Good Day Show. The one and only Chuck Wright. You're here. It's happening. Started in an Instagram DM, and you're here, brother. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, my dude.
This is exciting. I remember when I first came across your Instagram post, and I see it was like through the Explore page, and there's this dude with an airplane propeller strapped to his back with a giant umbrella sorts of thing, and it's just pushing him, and you're actually flying.
Yeah.
And I think I've never seen this before. I've never seen anyone doing it, and you just have this big old smile on your face. I'm like, this guy's gnarly.
It was a good time, man. That's wild that you came across it the way you did.
I did, and I thought, wow, you have to clearly have a knack for adrenaline and trying new things in life if you're going to ever try that. It was crazy. And obviously, you know, we started talking, and I continue to follow your stuff, and you're way more than all of that thing. And for all the audience for listening for the first time, I mean, if you check out Chuck's Instagram, you'll see you're into the weightlifting, the health and wellness, the fitness, the extreme sports. And when I say extreme sports, we're talking the extremes of the extremes. And it's just absolutely fascinating. So without anything, thank you for entertaining me, Sky, all of us. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm excited to dive into this.
I'm happy I provided some sort of entertainment for you guys.
And welcome to Miami.
Yeah, no, this is where I was born and raised. So
Where in Miami?
Coral Gables.
That's such a nice area.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, when I was growing up in it. Lived there for 10 years. Michigan for the last 16. Back in Florida now as of a year, 2 weeks ago.
Coral Gables has the most epic trees.
Dude, the growing over the road like feels like you're going through it. It's sick. I
It's
don't know what
so
they're
sick.
called, but they're sick.
So sick, yeah. It's like a tunnel. It's a vortex of tree beard from Lord of the Rings, just straight. The coolest trees. And and you're in Michigan?
Now?
No, you were.
I was in Michigan for 16 years on Grosio, which is a little island right between Amherstburg, Canada, and basically, obviously, the U.S., but you're a little island with two bridges that you go on and off.
What brought you there?
My mom had a little bit of family up there, and I guess it was more or less a better way of life at the time, living in Coral Gables. As nice as it is, there's still crime like anywhere in Miami. So at that given point in time, they thought it'd be a lot safer for us to be able to actually leave our front porch. And to do that, they decided to go to a neighborhood up in Michigan to do so. So we had a little bit of family up there. So that was the better place.
So you did winters, though.
Oh, winters?
Yeah.
I love snowboarding, obsessed. Out west, all that. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, this guy's obsessed with snowboarding, too.
It's something to be obsessed about.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough season for me. First time in Florida during the winter.
There's no rock climbing either in Florida.
We'll see what happens.
That's the negatives of Florida. There's no
elevation.
There's no elevation, yeah. But the upsides are so much outweigh it for me, 1,000%. If you want to go practice an extreme sport and go snowboarding, then just jump on a plane and go to Colorado for
That's
like a week or two.
exactly what I said when moving down here. I'm like, if I need to go out west, just going to go out west.
Enjoy the no income tax. Take that extra money you're making on plane tickets, and you're good to go.
It's huge. Huge. Yep.
It goes a long way.
It does. Notice that.
1,000%. Especially now that you can work remote anywhere. You can work for any company in almost every field and earn a paycheck. So why not do it from a place with no income
Just
tax?
have a license in Florida. You can be in Utah and have a license in Florida, but you have to live here more than 6 months out of the year. That's it.
So I know you do a lot of really fun stuff. Number one, you sell jets, which is really interesting as well.
It's a fun one. Yeah.
That's a fun one. There's I have a couple of friends that are in the real estate game, the laser game, the solar game, and I have no friends that just straight up buy and sell jets.
Yeah, it's sick. I got into it kind of an interesting way. It was more or less a family friend. Went down there, interviewed last August, not this 2021 of August, and basically did a little shadow day. And he's like, this is what it's like. What do you think? And I'm like, I love it. It's sick. I'm down. Went back to Michigan. And then he messages me like 2 weeks later. He's like, if you want to do this, you got to make a move like in the next 2-3 weeks. And I'm like, okay, been in Michigan 16 years. I am just going to rid all of my friends up here and just solo dolo go down here. I'm like, okay. So I ended up working out. Me and my roommate, he does commercial refrigeration. He ended up down here as well. Found a house. And next thing you know, it was a tough 3-4 first months, but it paid off towards like the 7-month mark. It really started to pay off and show its colors. It's hard. It's very hard, but it's very rewarding.
But in terms of just the process of buying and selling a jet, what makes a good salesperson and a bad salesperson in that world?
A people person, being transparent, Same with honesty. Honesty and transparent kind of go hand in hand. And then being able to talk, obviously. If you can't have a conversation with someone, know your details, know how a contract works, and know a little bit about law as well to not get someone screwed. That's a lot of just buying and selling jets right there. And then also knowing like tax breaks, things of that sort. Use it to their advantage. Give them reasons for other. I mean, there's so many planes just like there's so many cars, but the difference is for these guys, it's not a fun toy. It's a business tool. And obviously sometimes it's a showboaty thing for some people, or it's just for fun for some of the guys. But generally it's a business tool. It's a write-off. It's I need to get here fast. I don't want to deal with other people. I don't want to be in the airport, things of that sort. And I think I answered the question on that.
Yeah, no, you crushed it. So basically you're dealing with a clientele that knows what they want, or at some level they know that they're trying to achieve a goal.
Yep.
Ideally, you can make it easy for them in a trustworthy way where they can not have to keep looking. It even comes to shopping for anything. We all want to deal with someone who makes things easy for us.
Yep.
That makes us feel like we're getting a good deal, like we're dealing with someone who's honest and that answers and solves all of our questions, right? That's a problem solver.
Yep.
Those are seems like the best salespeople, people that just solve problems.
They just don't have time to do it. They will never put the time into it. It's rather just, hey, find me this. I'll pay you this. Go ahead and let's close the deal. And then when it comes time to sell it again, I'll list with you. You sell it, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. So it's sick. It's fun. I love meeting the people. It's really, really cool.
The jet sailing and the jet selling. I mean, you do all sorts of flying in it. And that must be a great sort of icebreaker for some of these clients.
It is. Some of them look at, I mean, a lot of, like I said, the business aspect, let's call it like 50 to 55% business. The rest of it's for people just for transportation, for their families. It's fun, whatever the case may be. Those guys love it. The business guys don't give a crap about it. They don't give a rat's ass. Oh, you fly a paramotor. I don't even know what the hell. Some of them are like, what the hell even is that?
Yeah.
So they don't really know. It's more or less for like the extremists, the people that are like grew up as enthusiasts and stuff of that nature.
So can you tell me about what that entire sport is?
Paramotoring?
Yeah, paramotoring. That's what it's called, paramotoring.
Yep, paramotoring. So you got paragliding, hang gliding, and paramotoring. Paramotoring, you have a wing above your head, just like paragliding, but the difference is you have a fan behind your back and obviously a seat below you. Little two-stroke engines. Now they're finally getting into fuel-injected two-strokes, which they've been around in snowmobiles and dirt bikes now for like 4 or 5 years. So now they're moving into smaller little platforms. So 185 cc two-strokes, about 28 horsepower. And you can go about, this is the biggest question everyone asks, how far can you go on a paramotor? Paramotor depends on the wing, weight of the person, weight of the setup. So typically you can go no matter what, wind conditions at least 60 miles. And if you got ideal wind conditions and speed bar out, you could probably go around 120, 150, depending on how much fuel you carry. But some people have gone 250, 220 miles on a single tank with a little bladder in front of you. So that kind of gives you the gist of how far you can go. And
so you obviously have a fuel gauge right in front of you that's showing you, or you just kind of know?
So when you're sitting in your seat, you have the tank that's strapped right behind you, below you. Take out a little mirror and you kind of just look and see where your level at. Most fuel tanks are like 9 to 10 liters. That'll give you a good 3.5 hours of flying, which is a long time more than most people ever really tend to go up. You never go through a full tank. If you're in this game, you're in any of those games, you know the risk and the rewards, sometimes once you get more acclimated to it. But the first time you get into a sport like this, you're like, holy shit.
Did you learn from someone or did you just see a video?
So everyone asks this. I found out about it through YouTube. Spent about a good, no joke, 100 hours on YouTube. When people say that, they tend to exaggerate, but I legit spent about 100 hours watching other instructional videos on people that were actual instructors on how to fly or how they fly, because you're not supposed to teach through YouTube. So they explain how they do it. And I did read a little bit up on it. I read a lot of the rules, everything of that sort. And then I just started kiting in a field with just a regular harness, not the motor, none of that stuff, and got the feeling what it was like for about an hour or two. Most people spend 20 hours kiting. I spent 2. And then I was like, one day I grabbed my sister. I'm like, I'm going to go fly today. Let's go try it. Let's just see how it works. So I'm like, I've watched enough videos. We go out to the field, get my gear all set up. I'm acting like I'm pre-flighting my gear. Like I know what the hell I'm looking at, which right now I'm like, I have no idea. Like I know motors really well. I'm mechanically inclined, but I'm like, yep, props on there. Everything's tight. Looks good to go. Fuel's, it's running. Awesome. Cool. Strap it on. I think I have everything hooked up correctly, which I should. Everything was secure. Put the wing up like I watched in the YouTube videos. Got the wing to come up. Started running. Gave it full throttle. And kept running until I came off the ground. And I got off the ground. And an immediate thought was, I have to effing land. I'm like, how do I get down? Because I'm like, I've skydove before with an instructor attached to me, so I didn't have to land. But I'm like, I have to get down from up here. And I've watched the videos, but I've never been able to practice because I've never left the ground yet. So that was that was fun. I landed on my feet, but it was hard.
What is the process of landing? Do you slow down the motor and it just kind of?
No, so motor. Here, let's explain the motor. The motor's irrelevant. I mean, it gets you off the ground. That's it. That's all it does. It gets you off the ground. It makes you climb. It doesn't make you go faster forward. So people are like, you put a bigger motor, does it make you go faster forward speed? I'm like, no, nothing. The motor just simply allows you to climb. The more throttle, the more up you go. The less throttle, the more down you go. So you find your little middle point, and motor just gets you off the ground. If you're at, like, let's say 5,000 feet, you can kill the motor and come all the way to the ground. Now you're paragliding. So the second you kill the motor, you're just paragliding now. That's it. So you take off your helmet. You don't need the earmuffs. The motor's not running, and then it's just paragliding from however high you are. It's chill.
It's just paragliding.
Yeah, just paragliding.
It's a giant parachute.
Yep, it just underneath the canopy again, and that's why I like it more than skydiving, because skydiving you have to rely on the parachute to open. Paragliding or paramotoring, it's inflated and it's already above your head, and you have a reserve if you need it.
There is a reserve.
If you choose to put one on there, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't.
It's like the idea of using an octopus when you scuba dive. It's up to you if you want to have one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fun though, man.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, you could do it tandem as well, paramotoring.
Well, you mentioned that, so hopefully in the future we can do.
You could do a mini podcast up in the air.
We got the lav mics now.
Joe Rogan said that when he talked about that video. So there's like a little 2-minute quote or 2-minute little whatever thing with Joe Rogan and Jim Gaffigan, which I didn't even know who he was until I watched their podcast. And he goes, "Oh, look, he's just doing a podcast in space, man. That's just a podcast." And I'm like, And I thought about you. I'm like, first one to do a podcast in the air. No one's done it yet, ever. So there you go.
Everyone should remember this and timestamp it, as this is the time that it's going to happen. It's going down.
You're going to see both of us in the air. We're going to probably be 7,000 feet above the ground. No helmets on, just mics set up and just talking, floating down over the ocean, probably around the Sarasota area.
Yeah, I'm just going to be...
He's going to be stoked. He's going to love it.
Pants, but it'll be fun past that part.
And he can have his tea up there and he can drink it while we're cruising.
That's going to be a vibe. But that's what, that's what the next year is all about. It's all about doing extreme shit. It's about... doing everything, living life to the fullest. We got the ice bath going on. We're doing the saunas. Are you into bungee jumping?
I haven't got to do it yet. I'm going to do it, but I haven't done it yet. Once again, flat. Where are the bridges at here?
I just don't see the allure in bungee jumping. But skydiving seems sick.
You haven't done it?
No.
Gosh, bless it, man, dude. We're going to take you out of this office. We're going to knock out 2 birds, 1 stone in the same day.
I'm down. That sounds
same
good.
day. Get you comfortable with the heights with skydiving, and then you're like, all right, cool.
I do love the water, though. Scuba diving. I love spearfishing.
I free dive nonstop, dude. So, I mean... free dive, scuba dive, all that stuff.
Free diving's the best.
Yeah, you ever go to the springs up north?
I haven't been. We only go to Pompano, really. Pompano Beach, because my friend's got a little boat there. So unless we're just going off the shore in Miami, which is typically you're not seeing much.
Buford Spring, an hour from my house. It goes all the way down to 165 foot, and you have light all the way to 130. It's a natural spring, so you have about 100 foot of visibility.
So you grew up in Coral. Were you doing it back then?
No, I didn't start doing it until about 3 years ago.
What prompted you?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube and some other. We grew up in the lake, on Lake Erie, right there in the Detroit River kind of area, and we'd always go out on the boat like every weekend. And me and my buddy Robert have always been really into diving, or like the idea of swimming down. And we're just like, dude, we should get into free diving. And we started watching YouTube videos.
Did you practice breath holds and do any of that stuff?
Yeah.
So you really purposefully.
Yeah, like my longest breath hold was like 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
So what's that routine look like? Do you still do it today, or is it?
I haven't done it in a while. I haven't held myself accountable like I should. I just haven't been able to practice work because honestly, it's not an excuse, but the job has really taken a lot from me.
Yeah, you could turn any of these things into some level of career, income, all sorts of opportunities.
If I were to fully commit to any of these, yeah. But yeah, soccer was my thing. I played soccer for 16 years. No one really knows.
You have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, just my name, Chucky Wright.
Chucky Wright.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, I believe strongly that almost anyone, depending on your level of talent or IQ, whatever you want to call it, your gift that you have, you put 3 years nonstop. All you do is constantly think about that. You can go pro or be the most proficient at that, whatever it is, whatever you want to do. I think 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, depending on how much time you put into something, you could be the greatest at it or one of the greatest.
I mean, just seeing what you're doing, and I know you sell jets, which is by fact so freaking awesome. But I see you as this biohacking extraordinaire entrepreneur that could create such a massive impact in the world just being you, because you're so authentic.
Health is wealth. Money comes second to fitness to me, and
it's
taking care of yourself.
It's interesting how you really need to. It's worth paying money for a personal trainer, regardless how big or jacked you are. Mm-hmm. for the coaching, because you can put up heavy weight, but if you're doing it wrong, you're just injuring yourself and making it worse.
Exactly. I mean, ego lifting has been out the window for me for about 8 years now. I see nothing of it but just look how strong I am, look how incorrectly I'm doing something. Little do they not know that they're doing it incorrectly, but they learn down the road when they have issues. Chiropractor seems to be their best friend, thinking that that's the only solution. When in reality, yes, there's benefits to that kind of stuff as well, but I don't want to go too deep into that. But and even having a trainer, is how educated is that trainer? Do they just get a signed off paper saying, oh, you're a personal trainer? Like, there's so many things mechanically wrong with today and how people move, and it's unfortunate, but social media kind of blesses and destroys depending on what you're retaining and who you believe in. Obviously, people have biased opinions, but mechanically, you go back hundreds of years and you see that the deep squat is the most natural position for anyone to sit in. Like, we would never be sitting in a chair like this. We'd be literally standing in like the deepest squat, and that's how everyone sat. The average human being can't even do that. So
you mentioned chiropractic being a little like, what were your thoughts there?
Chiropractic, I've been to them. I think for certain people that might have issues or something of that sort are really, really beneficial. I know there's some real legit chiropractors out there that know what the hell they're doing. And I think other ones just kind of get a degree. They get out there and they just start, people are like, oh, my neck cracked. It feels super good. My back feels aligned. I just feel better. Like, it's that fake sense of I feel good. And then there's some people that actually really benefit from it.
I agree. I had this whole freaking ordeal in my life where I had a really, really bad sciatica pain for 2+ years. It sucked. It was terrible. Couldn't sleep, was just constantly, in extreme pain. And when I had an MRI on my lower back, they found a 6mm disc bulge in my L1 S5. And basically at that point, they assume that's the reason, like it's a pinched nerve or something. So I did a full year of back stuff and it never got better. Turned out I actually had a tumor, which was non-cancerous, thank God, but it was in my femur, and they said they've never even seen it before. But it was creating the same type of problems that would be shown if you had a pinched nerve or a slipped disc or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I learned so much about that because I had to go through 3 or 4 different chiropractors throughout that whole process. One thing that I found really fascinating when I moved to South Florida, when I met my buddy Josh Levine, who was also on the podcast, is they practice a type of chiropractic called NUCCA. Are you familiar with NUCCA? NUCCA. Basically, it has to do with the aligning of the neck, like where it enters the spine. And some of the stories that he told me are just absolutely unbelievable. He'll touch you like this much, like barely touch your neck, and you'll see that you'll become straighter just because of like the simple adjusting of like a bone in your neck. And it requires a bunch of x-rays to do it, so most people don't do it because it's a lot more work from the chiropractic standpoint.
Yeah.
But that form of chiropractic, I believe 100%. I don't believe, like you mentioned, when you go in, you just crack. It's really satisfying, right? It's like ASMR, but I don't think, just in my experience and my research, it's a weird field.
To sum that up, I mean, chiropractic for me, I started gymnastics like 5 years ago, did it for like a year just to try it out and have fun learning how to flip and do all that crazy stuff. I ended up having, before that though, 4 hernia, like kind of similar to you, except I didn't have a tumor, thank God, unfortunately for you. Thankfully you're good. L1 through L4 herniated, and then my thoracic, I had 3, I don't know which ones they were, I had 3 of them, and then I had 3 cracked discs in my neck. So there's my whole spine. I had issues for like 3 years, dude, 2 years. I went to the chiropractor all the time, assuming, oh, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. Did traction. They did the traction with the table. They put my neck in the thing, pulled my neck for like 20 minutes and held it there to let the vertebrae separate and allow
spinal decompression,
but allowing the fluid for the disc to kind of refill himself, which is not really a super natural way of doing it. As you get older, it doesn't really want to it just doesn't. Once you lose all your fluid out of your disc, it's very hard unless you do stem cell therapy to get any kind of fluid back. So anyways, long story short, this guy that runs Squat University out of, I think it's Minneapolis, I went to visit him, and it changed. I mean, you have always that one person change your life. I literally learned the correct technique, the dynamics for everything. Found out I had a really bad hip impingement as well. I did have all the disc issues, but regardless of that, the hip impingement was really causing my lower back pain. So you can live with the disc stuff, but I found, you find out what was actually going wrong and where the problem was, and that's why because that weight used to be a huge issue for me. Like, I couldn't even squat like 225 just because of the pain. None of it. Before I squat, I do probably 10 minutes worth of warm up to get the certain muscles and my side laterals warm, and my core warmer, and warming up my knees as well, and then just doing some like hip mobility stuff with some holds at certain angles, certain movements. Depends on if you have, an external rotation that's limited or an internal rotation that's limited. That's typically a problem for people that have back pain when they squat, is a hip impingement, which is huge, and I didn't know that for freaking years. So But yeah, there's a lot of people lifting out there that don't realize that they like, I got back pain, I got back. It's like, it's always caused from something else typically. You might have a herniated disc, but that's not going to be the main root of what's really causing everything. Honestly, shoulder wise though, I had a small labrum tear. I don't know if you have like stinging pain when you do like bench press and stuff like that, or overhead press with shoulder or something of that sort. All I know is overhead press and doing linear progression. The way strength training to me overall is every single session you come in, whether it's deadlift or squat, 3 sets of 5, you go up by 5 pounds and you continue to progress until either you can't or your form starts to suffice and you pull it back and restart the process at a little bit lower.
You say 3 sets of 5 every time?
3
same
sets
weight?
of 5. No. So if you start off at 300, next session's 305, next session's 310, next session's 350. You go up 5 pounds every time, 3 sets of 5, and you do like a warm-up set with whatever. But that's what I did. I worked my way up all the way to like 530 was my most for 2 reps. So that's linear progression is super important. People are like, oh, I think today I can throw on another 40 pounds and be good doing that. It's like, no, it's not how that works. I mean, for getting stronger now, if you want to like look more ripped, more lean, whatever the case may be, yes, hypertrophy to muscle at the same time. Like start off your workout with intensity with weight, because at the end of a workout, you're not going to have the same strength you would at the beginning. So do all your strength stuff at the beginning and then go ahead and do your 5 sets of 12 or your 5 sets of 10, whatever you want to go do with whatever movements you want to go do. And yes, go ahead and get lean, build up, go break down the muscle fibers, go do it, all that stuff. That's fine. But strength, it comes first to me, then looking good comes second.
Have you ever went through a phase where you just wanted to get chiseled?
Yeah, I did 3 physique shows. I've been in the fitness industry for like 12 years.
Amazing.
So I know a little bit, yeah.
So you did personal training as well?
No, I never. I've been asked hundreds of times, but I never wanted to go that route because I always felt I even myself am not educated enough to tell someone. I know I could definitely coach someone better than a quarter of the personal trainers out there, but I just never got the piece of paper, and I never had the time to go do it.
You got into the gymnastics thing. That's pretty cool.
So
you
yeah,
just were like, I want to do flips.
I wanted to do tricking.
There's so many good people in this world that you haven't met yet. Something that just
God.
motivates me every day.
You're never gonna meet them all, but you can meet as many as you possibly can, right?
For sure. And like, I just hanging out with you, I can know immediately that I'm gonna probably have some of the most unique experiences because of this connection. I'm so grateful for it.
You're gonna experience some cool shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be fun. I've already experienced it, but I'm glad that you're gonna be able to experience it. That's
Well,
what
it's
it's
definitely
about.
not popular.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, setup runs like a good setup, like $15,000 to $16,000. So it's like for someone to get into it, it's not cheap.
Got it. And you don't want to cheap out on it.
No. I'm gonna answer your questions because everyone's watching this. No, you do not cheap out on it.
Yeah.
You get training. You do not self-teach yourself, and you don't cheap out on it.
Yeah,
That's
don't
bottom
follow
line.
my
You don't
path.
have money, don't get into it. Go get a wing and practice kiting so you can learn the fundamentals. And when you want to do it, by all means.
What can go horribly wrong when you're in the air?
So it's typically going to be 8 times out of 10, it's going to be pilot error. Pilot error, not checking the weather before you go up, not rain-wise, wind-wise. You typically want to stay between 6 to 12 mile an hour winds. You can fly more when you become a little bit more talented, but the second you take a collapse, you need to know what to do in terms of a collapse and how to recapture that and reinflate the wing. So that's kind of the scariest things is a collapse. The second scariest things, if you live out west, are going to be mountain ridges because you have these sharp winds that are coming 40 miles an hour, and it's depending on the angle or shape of the mountain, it comes up, it rides the ridge, and if you're like, that's how paragliders ride the ridge. The wind comes up and they just let it flow right into their glider and they continue to soar. But on a paramotor, if you're going at it, whatever the case may be, it hits you and you get a collapse or it throws you. And there's some videos out there of people getting screwed up because they don't go out in inclement weather. So just low wind days, harder launches, faster landings, amazing flights. More wind, stupid easy takeoffs, stupid easy landings. Slower flights, but also a little bit sketchier flights. So people like more wind because it's super easy to get off the ground and land. I'd much rather run a little bit farther and land a little bit faster and have a way more beautiful flight.
Got it. So you're ever up there and you're just, this isn't the play, I got to get back.
Yeah, 2 weekends ago, I did it at the Willington Air Park right there north of Pompano Beach. A client of mine, I was showing him, actually, I had him paraglide for a little bit, like just practice like the kiting. He got drugged to the ground a couple of times, kind of funny. But I went up and it was unsafe. I shouldn't have gone up, but I wanted to show everyone in that really rich community what it was like because none of them would ever see them. They all just fly nice jets and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, the weather's kind of strong. I'm like, it's all right. It is a little strong, but we'll see what we can do with it. I get up and I should have known right off my takeoff. I'm like, oh shit, so I get off the ground and the wind just takes me up like 150 feet in like 5 seconds. It just pulls me up and I just keep lifting. There's no forward. I'm going backwards.
Was everyone like,
they did get sketched.
or they thought you were just doing your thing?
They thought I was doing my thing at the same time. They didn't know. So they were like, oh shit. But I went up And then I pretty much landed almost coming backwards slowly. So I landed in basically reverse. It was sketch, but it was fun. It was cool. I knew when to come down right away. I'm like, all right, I just got to get this thing back down.
So making sure the conditions are super fire, you just check weather.com, or there's certain.
So there's an app. I use UAV radar. Most people use Windy, which they're just wind apps that let you know where the winds are at each elevation, because winds change at elevation. So 1,000 foot, it could be, I'm going to use miles per hour for most people, 7 miles an hour. At 3,000 feet, it could be 20 miles an hour. At 10,000 feet or 12,000 feet, it could be 45 miles an hour. You don't know. The wind's aloft. It's called winds aloft. So at different elevation, you have different winds.
Got it.
So any pilot, anybody that flies helicopters or anything aviation related, everyone knows what winds aloft are. And some people that drive boats too know what that means.
Do you need like a radar when you're up there?
There's no license required with this sport. Just because there's no license doesn't mean you don't need to get training. Class G airspace is like general. It's everyone. You don't need comms. You don't need ADS-B. ADS-B is a module that allows people to talk in and out and for people to be able to see you on their little Garmin 530, which isn't a plane. So you could see other little planes flying around or whatever has a module to send out a signal. So you could see, oh, look, there's someone at this elevation. It'll show exactly the elevation plus or minus where you're flying at. I don't need that because I'm in G airspace. It's uncontrolled airspace. There's no need to talk to a tower. There's no need for any of that stuff. If you're in any of those areas, then yes, absolutely. So no, general airspace, you're golden. You're fine.
And then how much weight can you take on those things?
You can take as much as you're limited to you're carrying on the ground. How much weight can you carry on your body? The wing will handle it. Just get a wing that's ready to take more. And so most I've gone up with was like 65 pounds, which was kind of heavy to run with. The one wheel and some gear.
Me and my cousin used to do battle bots when we were really young. And by battle bots, we would just buy remote controlled cars, or in my sense, a tank. And we would just put like a hammer on it or like a saw. And we would make a course and we would just fight to the death, and whoever would have to survive would survive.
Oh, that's sick. I remember watching battle bots growing up too. Those things were legit. I just saw a video on YouTube of like people that are still doing it. I'm like, wow, these new ones are sick.
They're so sick.
They're way more capable than the old ones.
The advancements in robotics is out of control.
It is.
And there's so much fun stuff to do on that whole front, especially just as technology increases. Like, what's going to happen to all the sports that have existed today as everything just evolves?
I think social media as a whole has pushed sports to the next level. Like, I grew up skateboarding has been a big part. I've done every board sport besides sandboarding, and skateboarding has been a bigger part of my life. And seeing like all sports progress, I think social media has pushed the envelope even faster. Like, especially like the Red Bull solos runs for the downhill mountain biking out in Utah and stuff like that, where they go down those massive, crazy ravines. But back to the social media aspect, it allows people to see what's doable and capable of being done kind of thing versus, oh, I wonder if this is doable. No, you just search it. It's been done. This is how they do it. This is how they set their feet up. This is how many tries it take. This is how they fall. Like, you get to watch every other person's errors so you know what to expect going into it versus learning it all from scratch on your own. So it's just pushing the envelope faster than anything's ever been before, at least in the sense of sports. Like, you can learn pickleball faster by just watching people online on how they play, how they move. Obviously, doing it yourself and whether or not how athletic you are is going to play a huge role into it. But any sport you kind of do, you can kind of get a glimpse of what it's going to be like and educate yourself before you go there versus not having that ability to do so.
Which, in that whole wrap-up, is just completely applicable to anything out there.
Literally, cooking, sales,
specifically
anything.
The business, right?
Yeah, huge.
Any industry you want to get in, if you find 3 to 5 of your top competitors or the top people that are already doing it right now,
Yeah.
just look at what they're doing.
But how lazy are you? Because anyone can watch a video, anyone can do any of these things, but how committed or motivated are you to actually capitalize on knowing what to do?
My favorite thing, I feel that as you get older and off that point, is that I never feel bad about sharing ideas because it doesn't matter. You can share an idea a million times, but most people just won't execute on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell everyone your idea. And the question is, are you going to do it? Are you going to set it up? Are you going to make it happen?
That's why I didn't, there's the answer to that question. That's why I didn't do personal training, because I did help 3 or 4 people and they stopped listening after about a month and a half. And then I stopped coaching them. They got pissed at me and I go, there's no reason to be pissed at me. You should be pissed at yourself because you quit on yourself. And I'm not here to help someone that's willing to quit on themselves. I would help you back if you're willing to commit, but you're not. And that's one of my biggest issues is people not committing to things and not having the self-drive to get up and push yourself. If you're getting paid to be that person to coach someone and like you're their motivator as well, sure, then that's your job as well. But if you're not self-motivated, it becomes very hard to do a lot of things in life and, move quicker and achieve things faster. I personally think.
In another world, you would have made a great SEAL.
I've been told that so many freaking not cockily, confidently. I've been told that by so many people. They're like, yeah, you would have been special forces or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not Jocko Wilk or whatever, any of those guys. Like, those guys are hard. David Goggins, by no means. Do I have the mental capacity to kind of go to that level? Yes, within reason, but I'm not destroying my body to the extent that some of these guys did. But yeah, we can absolutely push some of those envelopes for sure.
Yeah.
Still can, young, right? 27 years old, we can still knock some stuff
27.
out.
That's one thing I'm loving about just aging. I just love the way the world looks in my eyes. I just see everything so different than I've never have before, in the best way possible. You know?
And you met so many people, you get to see a lot of how they live their life, their perspective, whether it's from money or no money at all, or middle class, and how hard they work, how hard-ish they work, and how hard they did work to get where they're at, and how little they have to work now. It's so many different levels of life, right?
So true, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating because we're all just making our own experience on this earth.
I guess the biggest way I've been able to avoid the chaos emotion, whether it be happy or any of those emotions, has been just living. My brain's always been in constant chaos of like, what am I doing next? What am I doing? Like, I have ADHD really bad. I can never sit still, kind of thing. And I'm always just focusing on not the next best thing, but just what am I doing next? What's my next objective? What's my next big thing? What's the next milestone? What do I want to break? What record? I mean, my mind just goes from a million miles an hour from thing to thing to thing. And I'm just like, what's the next record? And work just killed me the last year. So now I'm like back to like, all right, you saw that video. That's how you found me. And I'm like, what's next? What am I doing? What am I scheming to like plot next? Like the next big one, I guess, hopefully nobody watched Paramotor on here, but flying from Miami or Key West to Cuba on the Paramotor, and then flying from Fort Lauderdale to Bahamas. So those will be the next 2 flights. No one's made a cross water flight that far ever in the history of the sport for the last 40 years. So that'll be cool. And then seeing how high eventually, it's gonna be hard, but how high I can fly up and around Mount Everest. I think that'd be sick. This is paramotoring world. I want to do things that are physically challenging too. Like that one guy in the Netflix series, I don't want to get too off topic, but that guy that did the 12 summits, and I'm like, I could do that shit, but I have a job. I'm like, I could do this, but I have a job. Like, God, I'm like, I don't want to copy anyone. I want to do like, you want to create your own as well. So it sucks. Sometimes you have to reinvent the wheel and just come up with your own things. So kind of take ideas, blend them how you want. I'm like, all right, this will be cool in my eyes, putting it out there like this. To get into Cuba, because obviously right now we're having conflict with them, the way to get in there would basically be for my religious beliefs. I'm a Christian at heart. So like, I'm like, oh, I'm just doing a documentary on, religion and blah, blah, blah. And that's how I wanted to get over there. And that's kind of like my ticket in over there to get to land there.
There's so many people that hear that and are just like, why are you thinking like that?
I don't know.
And the answer is you can't help it. It's who you are.
I can't, honestly. I see other people doing it. I'm like, I'm only young once, and I'm probably only able-bodied till I'm like 55, 60 to be doing crazy shit.
But you're strategic. You're not reckless. You study. You do your research.
I like to think with logic more than emotion.
You're calculated.
Calculated risks are very good risks, not uncalculated. Yeah. Be a risk taker, be calculated. I mean, you're still taking a risk. Risk is still in the word, right?
So you said you've been in the fitness world for 12 years. Was there like an experience that kind of launched you into this way of thinking?
I got in the fitness world because I wrestled for so long. Wrestling got me into, obviously, fitness, because what do you do after that?
Was there an experience that you had that got you into this thought process of trying extreme sports to a whole new level? You mentioned you were doing skateboarding. You did almost every board sport.
Every board sport. No, dude, I just wanted to try everything under the sun. Like, I did rock climbing. I was on American Ninja Warrior. I did that.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
How was that?
Yeah, it was 4 years ago. It was good. I made it past the first round, made it to the second round where you actually started to get televised. Didn't do good on that. I ended up having like a little ankle issue. And then I did a couple other American Ninja Warrior I mean, I've done a lot of shit, dude. I've been around the block, but I want to do more. Like, I want to learn more sports. I want to do the only thing I will never touch, and it's free solo rock climbing. I'm good on that. I would do like a 100-foot wall. It's probably it. I'm not. Nope, not for me.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Thank
good
you.
on that hard pass.
What was your closest near-death experience in your life?
Once was on a longboard getting towed behind a car. I hit like 43 miles an hour. Speed wobbles. You know what happens next. Land, and my head was probably 4 foot from a sewer drain. Thankfully, I landed in the grass. I have the clip of that. And the second one would be...
So you were just going 43 on the whole...
Longboard behind a car. Like, I was getting towed behind a car, and trucks were just... They weren't as tight as I needed to be for that speed. And then the second one would have been when I was freediving at Gilboa Quarry in Ohio. I didn't think I was going to die, but like, I was like, holy shit, I'm way deeper than I should be. And there's these tubes at 65 feet. So I go down, I'm at 65 feet, and these tubes are about 80 feet long. They're about the size of this room in terms of a circumference, maybe like 20 foot, 18 feet. Swimming through it. It was kind of an eerie feeling. Like, I used to have a phobia of like dark, deep water. I didn't like it, especially by myself being down that deep. And I'm swimming through it, and I get to the end. I didn't have a panic attack, but I like was looking around. I'm like, oh shit! Like, and my heart rate started because I created it in my own head. My heart rate started to race, and I was like on the way up, and I got to the top, and I was like gasping for air on that one. And then I got stuck also free diving one time inside of a boat. I dove into the back of it. This space, I shit you not, is like swimming through like one of these like little shelf
stuck
gaps.
free diving.
Literally like this size, and I had to pivot my way around. And you got 3-foot fins on. So I had to pivot my way around this corner, reach my other arm, undo my belt while I'm underwater. I'm only 20 feet down, but I'm still in a boat. And I come around the corner, and my ankle gets stuck with the fin. I take off my fins. They're both in the boat now. And I'm down there for like a minute and 10. This is a normal dive. I've done this little type gap like 10 times in my life. And just this time, I got stuck, and I was cocky. I went down quick, and nope, barely made it out of that one. But no, I've never had any near death. And then Greece, last one. Greece,
that free diving one's sketch.
Free diving, anytime you get stuck free diving, it's scary because you're holding your breath.
Yeah.
I was doing parkour out in Greece. I used to do like
Parkour.
Yeah, parkour, right? Everyone makes fun of it now, but it is a freaking hard sport, and you know that.
It's legit, yeah.
Out in
Brody something used to do that's like legend.
Yeah, Brody Paulson. Yeah.
He's legend.
I did. That's literally where you're going right now. Is the gap that he made almost with flying colors. He failed twice. I went to Santorini to go do the same gap that he did. I ran, I jumped across, my foot clipped. I have the video of this. My foot clipped the ledge where you take off from. I almost broke my big toe, and I barely made it was like 14 feet or 15 feet to the other building, and there was like a 25, 30 foot drop in between.
So you were able to hold?
I landed on my feet to the other building. I kicked the wall. So like I'm running, and I kicked the wall. My other foot jumped off, and I had to land like over here on this building that was like 15, 16 feet away.
How big was the gap?
15, 16 feet.
Shit.
Like it's far, dude. It's from like here to like your kitchen door. But it drops in elevation.
Did you have
4
squad
foot.
with you?
Huh?
Did you have like a squad with you?
My sister was videotaping me. I don't know what sports next. We'll see. I started picking up pickleball. I saw you were showing you at the courts, and I was like,
well, pickleball is so fun to me because I met this guy who's a NBA ref. He's freaking amazing, and we were always trying to play tennis, but he's always traveling. And he's like, yo, man, you want to play pickleball? I'm like, what's pickleball? And he's like, yo, just meet us at the courts. And I'm like, great. And I get there. He's like, yo, I'm actually like, I'm not going to be there for an hour. Just ask for Chef Mike. I'm like, Chef Mike? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And I just show up. I'm like, hey, is someone here named Chef Mike? And he's like, I'm Mike. And Chef Mike then gave me an hour lesson as if I paid him.
oh shit.
And we then played doubles the rest of the night and just crushed everyone. And now Chef Mike's like best friend. He's one of my favorite people I've ever met in this world. And now we're doing a whole cooking series together through Damn Good Day.
Yeah.
There's so many cool people that play pickleball. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
like,
oh my god, dude.
It's crazy.
Yes, it is. It's
because like when you go to the
like
gym,
golf.
when I go to the gym, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I have my
Headphones
AirPods in. Yeah, you're in the zone. But in pickleball, you're almost forced to shake someone's hand before you play, and then when you after, it's like good game.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your name? Oh, my name's here. Boom, boom, boom. And then you see the same people showing up on the courts. And it's this community. It's awesome. I love athletic sports that force you into these communities.
It's still sick that you free dive. Like that's in the back of my head. I'm like, you free dives. I'm like, I relate to you because you free dive. If you didn't free dive, I'd be like, he's a cool guy. I'm like, but you free dive. And I'm like, sick. So I have respect for people that do sports that are difficult. A lot of respect.
I mean, I'm not even that great at free
You
diving.
don't have to be. You do it.
But
some people can't even go 20 feet down because they get scared. Because like, I can't do it. Can't do it. Done. Nothing.
Oh, I'm down. Yeah. I'm totally down.
I got to get you up to the
I
springs.
definitely don't love deep sea scuba diving, though. I don't really find that exhilarating.
Depth on scuba is
I just don't
it's
find
whatever.
it exhilarating.
It doesn't do you anything. You got safety checks and all that stuff's kind of annoying. All that gear is annoying. Diving with sharks was sick. Have you done that yet?
Sharks have been around when.
Have you chummed the water and dove with sharks and got to touch them, push them away when they were coming at you? You got to do that. Right out of Jupiter.
Ocean Ramsey stuff.
Right out of Jupiter. Yeah, she's sick. Right out of Jupiter, Florida.
Kimmy's
go do
swimmy.
it. Yeah, Kimmy's nuts. She's a beast. Yeah, she's dope.
But my buddy Josh, he would love because he's my chiropractor friend, and he bought this little boat, and we just go out on Pompano, and it's typically 2 or 3 of us, and chum the water, and we take sardines down with us, and it's freaking awesome.
I've never spearfished yet.
I haven't done pelagics yet. Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, really?
No, like my roommate's obsessed with fishing. So my cousin Mikey runs a charter out of Key Largo. He's got like a 34-foot boat. He'll take you over to the Bahamas too on day trips. But I just got into fishing. I don't really like fishing, but I like catching big fish because it's a challenge. But spearfishing, I'm like ready to go, ready to get my gun, go whenever.
Spearfishing is the coolest thing.
Yeah,
ever. It's like real life Pokemon. You're down there. You have
so
no
sick.
clue what's going to show up. Well, with free diving.
Yeah.
I've actually never free dove without a spear gun. I've only done it with
Really?
spear guns. Yeah.
Spear guns next. It's harder than free diving, I believe, in my eyes, because there's a lot more things going on. Especially once you get something and you put it to your side, you got to let the right dynamic of now you're being hunted for whatever's on you.
But it's actually better to start just free diving before spear fishing.
I would think so. The fundamentals of how to, and then you add the variable. But if you already got it and you're doing what you're doing, then going back to the other stuff without a spear gun is going to be a lot easier.
I took a free diving course with Errol Putigna.
Okay.
Errol Putigna free diving. For anyone listening, check him out. He's amazing. Still has yet to come on the podcast, but says he was like 1,000 times. He will one day for show. But basically, I took his course and we did the on the day 2, you do the static breath holds. First time I did the breath, it was like 1 minute and 10 seconds. Second time was 1 minute and 40.
Mm-hmm.
Third time I got 2.5.
Yep. It just keeps, once you learn the technique, mind until you black out. Your mind will,
But it's interesting with freediving because if you black out, like, you're still technically fine as long as you're being safe. Like, it's crazy.
Yep.
I know that sounds crazy for listeners, but your body's built to protect itself.
Yep. You don't want to black out all the time, but by all means, yeah, you can black out and you're not going to be like, oh shit, I just damaged so many brain cells. Like, no. Your body has a fail safe. Like, you're good. It's built in there, just like the mammalian dive reflex. You put your body in colder water, your heart rate lowers, you're able to dive longer, hold your breath longer. I mean, it's an instinctive thing that we've lost over time because no one does any of this stuff.
Mammalian dive reflex is so badass.
It's so, no one even knows what the hell that is.
So
when you put any part of your forehead or your face gets cold water, you're able to actually enhance a lot of your abilities in breath holding and just breath holding, lowering your heart rate. Yeah, that's wild. Anything water related is kind of scary.
You like cave diving though? Clearly you do. You have that.
I like cave free diving. Yeah, I want to do scuba cave diving. Yeah, I'm not like scared of it. Like, I'm a big fan of having extra oxygen for sure. But it doesn't scare me. I think it's kind of interesting. Do I find it like the most enjoyable thing? Like, I already know the outcome. Other people have done it, but at the same time, I don't want to do cave diving where people haven't explored the cave because then you're the first person. I'm like, no. Let you go first. Like, I'm good. I'll experience it after, but I'm not scared of like it collapsing or anything. If it happens, it's meant to be, unfortunately. But no, that's not like my go-to thing. No, but I do like free diving into a little bit of caverns, tight spots. I like that stuff. That's just fun.
I mean, that's okay. But I like free diving where you can still somewhat see
light. I need to see the light. I like light. I appreciate light. I respect the light. I love it. So it's like there's home right there. You can sit within a vision. Like, that's why I like Buford. If you ever come up there, it's an 1.5-hour drive from my house. You could see all the way to 95 feet, straight clear daylight. And then when you dive to 130, if you can free dive that deep, you can still see the light.
How deep can you free dive?
I just broke it last week, and 109 feet was like the most I've ever gone to. Damn. So before that, it was like 89 or 91. So, but I know I can go. My goal's probably going to be the 200 mark.
My deepest was 62 when I took my course.
It's still pretty deep.
Felt like such a gangster after.
Most people can't go that deep.
That was crazy.
People can't go past 10.
It wasn't an enjoyable 62. I wasn't like, I could chill here. I was like, I'm gonna get up. Let me get up quick.
No, dude, freediving's sick, man. I don't know what sport's next. I'm actually gonna make a YouTube video. I'm looking for a videographer that I can take, and it's gonna take me probably a month project. But I want to showcase every sport that I've ever done all into one video. 25 minutes. I'm just gonna pick 25 sports, and I'm gonna try to see like what level I'm at each one of these sports, and just make like a collage of all of them, like doing the hardest movements in all of those sports for 25 sports.
That would be sick.
So I just want something from like when you were younger, you can look back and be like, I tried all this. Like, yeah, look, kids, like this is what I used to do when I was younger, blah, blah, blah. So I need to do something like that. My mind's always just been, how can you become the most versatile athlete out there? Like that's always been the epitome for me. It's what makes you the most versatile athlete. That's it. In every category, being smart, clever, logical, athletic, strong, fast, agility, like being a good, genuine human being at the end of the day as well. Like every attribute, like, and then just becoming the most versatile, and then also pushing past barriers that have never been passed. And that's what I wish I could just live to do versus having to make money all the time. And unfortunately, there's a world we live in where you got to make money. So
true. Yeah. Unless you can figure out a way to turn all of that into a money making thing. Right?
And it will. And I think just having a lot more money in like a 2-year time span, still being young enough, and then taking that money and be like, all right, well, now I can go ahead and focus on what you just said.
Well, it's so interesting too, being young, being our age, where number one, you don't need much to be extremely happy. That's the coolest part. Like, you roof over your head, some food and some savings, and you're pretty fired up. Like, when I got this house, like, my life changed. I'm just like, I kind of don't need anything else in this world. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, we're good. I got the place with the homies to come, and we can have fun, and I can have parties, and it's great. It's like everything else is gravy
Extra.
and if, for a rainy day or figuring things out, right?
Yeah.
But at some point you have to decide, like, what is it that you want to do with the life? What is it you want to spend your time doing?
I could tell you one thing, and probably people with money might say the same exact thing. Money definitely does not make you happy at all. It'll bring you experiences that are probably bring great memories, but it'll never be the sole reason for happiness, I think. And that's just true. It's facts. Every person that doesn't have money will always say, money will make me so happy. It's like, no, it will not. It will not. I promise you. Experiences with good people are like what I honestly live for. Like having good memories, good times with genuine people that are like, my buddies will ask me like, dude, what's like, what makes you happy? I'm like, honestly, dude, I remember this one time we all went golf. We got pretty drunk at the golf course. And I remember like that day being fun as shit. And I don't even like golf, but it was fun with the homie. Like it was a good day that was memorable. Like shit like that. Like simple shit.
I do love how as you get older, you start to just think about things so much differently. Like one amazing breakthrough I've had recently is there's always been some piece of me deep inside that kind of thought I was inadequate to build my own business and be this, sort of like the type of people I interview on my podcast all the time. Part of me just believed I was kind of like faking it till I made it instead of like being it till you become it, or just, I just always kind of doubted myself. And more than ever before, my confidence in my own ability has been through the roof, and the results have shown. And I think a big reason is, number one, at some point you realize that it becomes harder not to do it than to do it. And I'm talking about building the business, doing the ice bath, eating the right food, doing these things. It becomes harder to not go on Fiverr and source the right people, to not get your website built, to not do the course. It becomes harder to not start cigars.com, to not do these partnerships with athletes. It becomes harder sitting there knowing that you can do it, that you're fully capable of doing it, and you're not doing it. Eventually, when you hit that point, I feel like it no longer becomes this thing of, oh, I have to work. It becomes this thing of, I have to just serve what I need to do to achieve sanity.
Yeah. I think the fear of not, I think the regret of not attempting to try something that you didn't think you were capable of is huge for me. Like the regret of not doing it. Like I built a clothing line when I was 21 years old, and I just didn't have the funds to keep it going. Like it was blowing up. I was making money, but I was in college, and I was just like, this isn't flying, dude. This is just too much overload. And I wish I would have had a different mindset at that age, but I don't regret it. I learned, and now I know, hey, I'm fully capable. And the biggest thing I take away like every day now is betting on yourself. Like I said, I just literally quit my job on Saturday because I didn't agree with the split, other kind of things like that, yada, 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 whatever. You can make a lot more money on your own doing it. But I was like, literally I quit. I'm like, I told my buddy Jack, who does it on his own, he makes good money, like $1 million and a half a year as a 26-year-old kid is good money for him. So, and he's told me the same thing. He's like, dude, the second I started doing it on my own, I bet on me 110%, just like I did for being a pitcher for baseball. He's like, he came out of New York too. And he's just like, no one from New York makes it as a pitcher. Like, and then he moved to North Carolina, and I was just like, you're not wrong, dude. Betting on yourself is 100%. Like you have to mean it though. Don't just say I bet on me. No, it's like I bet on myself. Like 100%. You're not gonna. It's not a competitive thing to other people. It's like you can't let your alter ego beat you on saying you can't do this. You're not capable of doing this. That kind of thing.
Well, being your own business owner at some point becomes necessary, especially once you're in sales, because eventually you realize that you could work your ass off doing the same amount of work to make 10% the commission. Then if you did the same amount of work, the same actions, you're going to have higher level conversations, almost even more relaxed conversations, because you're typically dealing with more higher level people because of your ability to just portray that you're also at that level.
Yeah.
And the rewards are 10x. It's crazy.
Yeah, Grant Cardone.
And it's more exciting.
Yeah.
And it's more exciting too, you know?
And the risk is all on you as well, which kind of gives you that exhilarating feeling too. It's like, it's all on you, dude. It's that you go home, you're responsible for what you make or what you don't make. You didn't work that day, you didn't get paid that day, or you didn't work towards getting paid that day, which is sick. I love that. Making yourself, what do you want to call it? What do you call it? Making yourself responsible for, there's a different word for it, but I'm not even going to think of it. I can't even think of it right now.
Responsible for all your actions.
Yeah, kind of thing like that. Different word, but it's along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, like you eat if you work.
Kind of thing, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I really am grateful for network marketing. I got in direct sales when I was 20, and someone texted me saying I have something you'd be dank at, and I don't know if I was selling drugs, but I was down. And it turned out it was Vemma, VEMMA.
Okay.
And I got into Vemma and had a great run in 13 and a half months, hit a 6-figure income, speaking on all these stages. Life was so crazy.
Did you enjoy that? What was speaking on stages for? Like, how was speaking on stages like for you?
It was exhilarating.
Were you nervous first time? Obviously.
I always get nervous. I get nervous before a podcast. I get nervous before a sales call. I get nervous before any time I ever do pretty much anything.
Really?
Because I care.
And getting there, yeah, 100%.
Because
I
I
walked in
care.
here, I was nervous for this too.
You know, I care. I'm like, I want it to go good. You know, I don't want to fumble the bag. You know, yeah, I get nervous, but it's exhilarating afterwards.
Yeah.
It's exhilarating when you just lay it, like you put it all out there, and people actually liked it.
Dude, yeah, that's
crazy.
That's like when I put that 17,500 video, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, this is gonna blow up, and I didn't think, I'm like, holy shit, I got 7 million views. I'm like, all right, dope. Like, and then I started creating other crazy videos, flying into the Bermuda Triangle,
It's crazy.
doing this.
7 million views.
Yeah, I mean, I'm humble for it, honestly. Like, thank for everyone. Yeah, it was sick. And then it's just like, what can I do next? I know it worked. What can I do next?
Right.
Like, that pushes me to go ahead and push the envelope. Not saying I need that motivation, but it's cool to get rewarded for doing something you didn't even expect to get rewarded for. At the same time, you also enjoyed and lived through something so wild. I'm going to do it again, honestly. I'm going to see if I can legally go up to 20,000. I think it'd be cooler. So, but I'm over I'm not over it, but I don't want to be associated with just, oh, you're the paramotor guy. I'm like, no, gosh damn it, no.
You just epitomize living life to the fullest, taking chances, exploring the world, conquering your fears, doing things different, challenging yourself, and you do it with no ego. You're just this guy that's trying to be the best version of yourself, and it's cool.
Yeah, competitiveness drives me. Not trying to be better than anyone, just trying to be better than myself. So
something we always ask on every show, no matter where you've come from or what your background is if you could go back in time, and the current you at 27 could have talked to maybe you at 16, and you could have said, listen, man, you know, I'm going to say 1, 2, or 3 things that could have saved you a ton of time, money, heartache, headache. And naturally, a lot of times people say, I would have invested in Bitcoin. Or they would have said, I wouldn't have told myself anything because it made me who I am today, which is a great answer. But let's not use that. What are maybe some lessons, the things that you would have told yourself?
Yeah, I'm like the second answer. Obviously, that's great. Like, just let things roll how they were and how they ended up. But honestly, stick with soccer. I would have gone. I 100% promise you I would have gone pro in soccer if my dumb ass didn't flunk out with grades, like not caring about school. That's where I would have been. I know, guaranteed. I played for 16 years. Like, there's no... I was
soccer, not
cocky, but I was confident. Like, I was on so many different teams for travel and always getting picked to go play. Like, I was good at soccer. Yeah. Soccer or football, if I would have actually played football and been a little bit bigger. But regardless, no, it wasn't a money thing ever back then, or I wish I would have invested in any of this stuff. No, none of that. Just picked a sport and actually stuck to that one damn sport versus trying 4 different sports all the time. Like, playing 4 seasons. Like, I should have stuck with one sport, played it the entire way through, trained off season on that sport, and just gone pro in something. That's what I should have done.
Yeah, I wish I just played high school hockey. I know it's so simple, but
yeah, but it didn't end up that way. Tennis, dude. I would have played tennis, but whatever.
If I could go back, I would have played tennis, golf, and like swimming or something.
Sports you don't get hurt in, yeah.
Things that you can do, and things you can do your whole life. You know?
That too. That's why I say you don't get hurt in those now, so you can do them the rest of your life. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing is like for you putting out that video, like you now have the credibility and you being that athlete to get that interview with Kimmy Swimmy, right? To get that experience.
Create some sort of brand. In my head, like fake reality of who you are because you did one thing and everyone, because of the views it gets, it's like, okay, now you got the accolades to go ahead and talk to this person, which sucks sometimes because people there's some wild people I met that don't even have Instagrams or don't have any followers. I'm like, you're nuts. Like, you're incredible as well. Like, you're freaking insane, but no one will know unless
no one will know.
Yeah, unless you post the hypes of your life. Like, I post, if I had sadder shit to post, I'd post it. If I had downs, I'd post more of it, but I really don't like have any bad days. I just don't allow my mind to be filtered with that kind of stuff. I try to.
You're the epitome of damn good day.
I've used your damn shit. Like, I love it. I'm like, it's a damn good day to have a good day. There's like 20 people that are like, dude, I like that saying, where'd it come from? I'm like, there you go. I send them your page. Every single person. I'm like, this is who it is. Go check his shit out.
That's legit.
It's sick.
It's cool. It's a cool way of living. So, man, we could talk forever.
Yeah.
This has been real. I appreciate you. For everyone listening in, how can they follow you? Where would you recommend they go?
YouTube, Chucky Wright, CHUCKY, and then like the Wright Brothers of Aviation, right? And then Super Chuck CW for Instagram, and then Facebook, I guess, kind of, I don't really care. It's just Chucky Wright as well. So,
and for everyone listening, you have to hold it to us that we're going to do an in-the-air podcast. Paramotoring.
Yes.
Not sailing, not gliding, paramotoring.
Not flying in an aircraft. Nope. Just we're going to paramotor for at least an hour. And
we got an engine in a dream.
Yep, we got earmuffs and and a mic that's gonna cancel everything. It's not gonna be as good as his equipment, but he's gonna have to do the auto background editing. That's gonna be a fun one. So yeah, it'll be sweet.
It's gonna happen. Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on.
This is a damn good day to have a damn good day.